How quickly did it come up? How enthralled were you guys by my amazing... And watch this. Watch this. What in the hell? What in the hell was that? Dude's still spinning. Oh, man. I bet old mate's still heading towards the stratosphere. Hey friends! Last time in our iRacing series, I had my first ever public server race in the MX-5s. Things went well. A little too well, some might say. And that's why we're here today, to show you that while iRacing giveth, it can also taketh away. This week, the global MX-5 series was racing on my favourite UK track, Oulton Park. I had a super busy week and wasn't able to participate until the very last hours before the track was changed for the new racing week. Luckily, I was able to sneak in 2 races before the end, with this being the last of them. Oulton Park is truly a joy in the MX-5s. The car and the track are matched to each other like Formula 1 and Imola. Like Joe Biden and not knowing what year it is.
Last night I was on the television. I was on the telephone.
Like a gender studies course and crushing unrepayable university debt and... Basically, it's a really natural combination. Unfortunately, with Oulton Park being a fairly tight track and iRacing matching me up more closely to people of my skill level, you tend to get some knocking around. Sometimes it can be fine, but other times a person's poor judgment can ruin your entire race. I'll let you decide which of those two it was this week for yourself. Make sure to hit that sub for more iRacing content, and let's get to the first part of any great race, the qualifying. Right, and here we are, coming up to the best of our 2 qualifying laps. Now, believe it or not, this lap was enough to get us onto pole position. Not the best lap of my life, certainly not the worst lap of my life, but it was the time to make it work. The white flag is out. This is the last lap I got, so braking hard there at T1, grabbing a bit of the inside curb, going out just enough not to invalidate the lap. Of course, the track limit's being very aggressive here at Oulton Park in real life, as well as in iRacing, as I kind of turn in, brake, shift down, third, not too bad, didn't grab the inside curb. Didn't go out wide. That, of course, the most aggressive track limit probably in all of iRacing outside there on T2. Now, my delta is dropping like crazy. Bear in mind, that's against my all-time best lap, which was under more favorable conditions and possibly a better car tune than this. This is, of course, the baseline setup. That's a fixed setup race. We go around this very fun, cambered, banked hairpin, one of my favorite turns on Oulton Park. It really, sky's the limit on how you want to take it. Coming up to the chicane. Also one of my favorite parts. In fact, all of Oulton Park is my favorite everything, really. It's just a wonderful track. It's like a miniature Nürburgring in a park somewhere in, God, where was it? Central, southern UK? I'm sure one of you will correct me. Braking hard here at the 75 board. I don't know if that's meters or yards or whatever you folks in the UK use. I'm gonna go with meters. Didn't look like meters. Alright. Pretty decent run through there. I've gained about 3/10 through there, slingshotting it like that. Thank you to Dave Cam with his videos for Traction GG showing me how to save a lot of time through there. Now through here now, it hasn't helped me all that much. I used to be a lot more aggressive through here. Not a terrible performance through there, but certainly not one of my best either, as I'm losing time on the exit with the Delta. I feel like the conditions must have been colder for the idyllic lap as I brake hard, shift down to first here, which makes all the difference. You're going to see the Delta slink back down. Very nice. And that's us for a time of 1:52.9. Alright, that's enough for pole position. While I was happy to get a time in the high 152s, the reality is that I was trying to get a pace closer to the mid 152s. Given my relative lack of practice and that I was able to save about half a second off my overall lap time in just the day I had to practice, I was still reasonably happy. Lights out and away they go, and this time I actually managed to kind of drop the clutch on time. Now, guys, the operative thing to show my opponents, my trailers behind me, friendship is magic. Always bear that in mind when you're following Ermin in first place. Please no bumperoony, especially around T1. A very important thing to bear in mind, especially around T1. Maybe not so much at Oulton Park as other tracks, other certain Italian tracks. Whoa, as we get one launched off at T1. Right then, that's one out of the stratosphere. Now, second actually got a pretty decent run on me through that first turn. I got massive understeer through there because, well, one, cold tires, and two, I misjudged cold tires, but he thought better of it. I guess he thought to not be particularly aggressive here. Much appreciated, some very gentlemanly driving. Go around the hairpin for the first time. I'm hoping to get heat into my tires as much as humanly possible. Going to that chicane with cold tires, always a fun thing. You're hoping to not go out wide, kind of like that. Not what you want to be doing, but that's okay. We made it through. So far, I think myself and second are separating ourselves from the rest of the field. Braking hard into the second chicane here. My lines are not perfect. I'm doing okay, but the tires are they're fighting me a little bit. They need a bit more warmth. As you can see, I've turned the relative on there. It's half a second behind now. The tow really helps for the MX-5s here because this is normally a small track for most car types, but because these are so slow, you spend so much time in somebody else's wake that it can actually help you make up a lot of ground. So I really have to try and get out of tow range, and I'm struggling. He's already 3/10 behind. Dropping down to first, getting on the accelerator nice and early there. I've already made up a gap there, half a second again, around there. So not doing too bad, but he gets it back. As soon as he gets the tow, it's just back straight away. Alright, so drop a gear here, turn in. Still a little bit understeery from the cold tires, not too bad, haven't gotten the penalty. I've definitely lost a bit of time there. Now the important thing is to brake as soon as I get into the compression here. Turn in, brake, hug the inside curb there, use the cambering of the track, not too bad, maybe a little bit too aggressive on the curbing. And my opponent behind me, I think he's gotten the run. Yeah, I can see him closing on me. 2/10, probably not close enough to make a move. But closer than I would like him to be, that's for sure. I kind of cover the inside, do a less than ideal line just to make sure I've covered the road. Seems like this is going to be it. I'm going to be doing a defensive driving course here. Oh no, it just kind of, I didn't quite get the exit line that I wanted. I can tell that I've lost time on the exit. I know that's going to hurt me through here. Yeah, I know the guys behind me are definitely going to make use of that. So us three, the podium positions, have definitely separated ourselves from the rest of the field. And once again, a big thank you to Dave Cam for showing me to short shift here, turn in nice and early. Too early there, went in way too shallow, shot me out wide, lost time going over the dirt on the inside. So that's the thing I don't like about not having the time to prepare for one of these races. I normally like a couple of hours to learn the ins and outs of the car and the track, but I had to really just kind of jump into Oulton Park before min-maxing it, as not the droids I'm looking for there. Of course, second has capitalized on this. He's right behind me. He's not being very aggressive with the overtakes, which I do appreciate at this point in the race. I think he's just biding his time. Maybe he knows. He's just like, this guy's going to make a mistake. It's just a matter of time. Look at these unicorns and crap on his car. He's surely not in his right mind. And I would agree with that, really. All right, coming up on T1 again. He's thinking about it. He's thinking about to dive, but not quite. Not quite. Ah, man. Ermin. This is not my time. This is not my time to shine here. Now I leave him a bit of a gap on the inside there. I thought he was going to make the move. How are you guys liking my new radar, by the way, as the view jumps away? But I'm using the Race Lab radar. It's really nice for people like me with a single screen setup as he takes the inside. So, you know, I've really enjoyed this racing with second, who's now first. I think we've been very respectful to each other. You know, he's been very respectful not to dive me, and I was very respectful to leave him probably more space than I should have on the inside there. Around T1, which he capitalized on, but I'm actually kind of relieved. I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of this defensive driving course. Let's follow a little bit. Let's see what happens here. So far, so good. Now I get the tow. Now I get to enjoy and bask in the glory of dirty air. Come at me. Let's see how this goes for us. A lot of engine braking through there, not too bad. Turn in nice. Little shallow, not too bad. He kind of gets a wider line through there compared to me. Maybe he's maximized it a bit better. But see, with the tow, you can just kind of hang on to someone. It's so much of an assist. It's such an aid. But so far, so good, you know. Decent race. I'm enjoying myself. You know, if I come second at this point, I'm reasonably happy with that. I feel like second has done enough. He is, even though I out-qualified and I, at the end of this, I believe, got the fastest lap, he out-raced me, you know? And that's cool. That is, after all, what we're here to do. As he jinxed manically on the inside. I don't know if he was trying to cover the inside for T1 or what, but yeah, that was quite interesting. As I don't give him the same courtesy he gave me, just poke my head in on the inside. We go too wide through T1. Very respectful. Look at that gap. You could feel like 2 cars in between us. That's the kind of racing I like to see on public lobbies, you know? Me going a little bit aggressive there, making sure I don't actually contact with third. Things are a little weird through here now. As I trail, I'm kind of getting used to this. I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I'm close enough to this. My pace is good enough that I can probably retake first. Really depends on how the tire life is going to go. Ah, yeah, some nice slidey stuff through there. We move in, he covers the inside, and that happens. Let's see that again. Right, from the exterior perspective, and just smashed out on the rear. Now, whether that was netcode, whether that was poorly judged braking, possibly a bit of both.
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
Indeed. Well, this is going to start the second phase of my race. I've been here many times before, especially on my community races with less experienced racers around. Not my first time experiencing this at Oulton Park in particular, so it's kind of cool. You get to mentally shift into another gear rather than being, oh, see ya, man. Maybe he didn't want to go toe-to-toe with the mighty ham sandwich. Maybe it was just too much to bear. Maybe the power of our unicorns was just too much. As we head into a very different mental space here. So, you know, when you get knocked back like this, it's more like, alright, well, I know I have the pace to exceed everybody here in the midfield. The idea is to basically sink into a rhythm, get nice and consistent, get used to the flow of the track, you know, make minimal mistakes, reclaim as many positions as you can, and just accept the fact that you're no longer going to win the race, right? Like, barring a miracle, you're just not going to win the race. So I have Ben in front of me by about 2 seconds, 2.5. Renato Cirafici. No, sorry, it's Cirafici. My bad, Italians. Gotta correct myself on the fly. I gotta learn your language. I may or may not be an honorary citizen soon. So, coming up into T1. Now, I'm in a weird space here right now. I think mentally I'm like, oh man, I got spun out, I got damaged, the car feels weird. I'm thinking to myself, something's off because the car isn't behaving as it was before. Now, I think that could just be from the tires being overheated from me sliding for as long as I did. I found myself understeering a bit more than I expected to be, but we're of course closing this gap very quickly, almost down to a second, down to Ben now. The cool thing about the cars in front of us being in a convoy is that they're only as fast as the... Do you see that understeer there again? They're only as fast as the slowest member of that convoy around any one turn, so they're basically multiplying their chance of being slow based on the amount of cars in the convoy, which is why when you're by yourself, you very often tend to catch them. Not too bad run through there. Probably not going to help my tire warmth by doing that, but that's alright. So, an 0.8 of a second now. So by next lap, we should pretty much be within striking distance if this continues. Now, you know, this kind of stuff happens. It's happened to me more than once. First time it's happened to me in iRacing, actually, that I've been fighting for the lead like that and completely owned by third place. I don't tend to like being sandwiched like that between first and third. I've been there before, and it's like you're constantly torn between defending and attacking at the same time. So you're having to use every hemisphere of your brain. Alright, so we've already closed it down to half a second. And a mad understeer through there. Now, I don't know if that was the dirty air combined with the overheated tires. Maybe the tire life is starting to wear out. Maybe my reference points are off. I don't know. But I know the car is feeling different to me at this point, and I'm swearing at this point. Alright, 5 laps to go. I know at this point I pretty much can't win. I'm in 7th position, I think it is. So I've been knocked back quite a bit. Knocked back about 5 positions. But you know what? I'm thinking maybe if I try hard enough, I can get back to the podium. So you can see up ahead there, we can still see first, as that counts as an off-track somehow, due to Oulton Park's very aggressive off-tracks. not too bad. Kind of cut that line nicely. And I love picking up the dirt through there as well. I love that that's a part of iRacing, that you can just kick up dirt onto corners where too many people get off tracks. Imagine that makes the American tracks very fun, like Laguna Seca, Road America, you know, all that good stuff. Willow Springs, assuming it has Willow Springs, which it might not. Whoa! Best netcode in the business, right, iRacers? Alright, so decent gap to Ben. I'm getting to that point where I'm having to strategize. I'm like, alright, where's the move gonna happen? Am I gonna wait for an opportunity or am I gonna make an opportunity? You know, how much time do I have to waste here? Got the rear of the field there behind me. I'm slightly wide there as he makes a move for himself actually on the outside of the coming corner. He's managing to hold it, it seems. I'm wondering whose toe to pick up. Our guy on the outside because he's closer. And now we kind of poke our head in on the inside like, hello, how's it going? I'm here. Want a piece of the ham sandwich, mate? Want a piece of this pink glory? Wow, look at them flowers. You can't with that.
Clear on the left.
All right. Pony Magic wins again. So we're still about half a second separated from Ben. Going into T1, maybe a slightly overly aggressive line, but you can really appreciate those car dynamics there in iRacing when you do stuff like that. The way the car squeals and bounces, the way the grip and the tires kind of chirp. That's the kind of stuff that I loved R-Factor for, but iRacing now, in my opinion anyway, does it better, which is kind of crazy. I didn't think of all the sims that iRacing would get there first, but here we are. Can't lie when it comes to physics. I gotta go where the truth takes me. Alright, braking nice and early there. I did that on purpose. He did overshoot a little bit himself, but I wanted to make sure that I didn't do to Ben what was done to me in second position. Now we can still see first, seeing the white car up there. So, second place really didn't gain much from knocking me out there, you know? It's kind of frustrating, to be honest. We didn't really gain much from all that. Just kind of gave one guy a really easy victory. And I was enjoying the battle we were having during the first third of the race too. Oh well, it is what it is. It is still the rookies technically, you know, that's got to be expected. I think it's a reasonably high split in rookies, but it's still rookies. So 3/10 away. Definitely hard to find your moment at Oulton Park. Before you know it, so many laps just dissipate away in front of you. So, you know, by the time you do all that, what do you call it, rubber banding, accordioning, you know, when you contract and expand. I forget what the term is for it in the racing world. There's a lot of contraction and expansion depending on the flow of the track, and it's very hard to pick your moments. I know this is my moment, I know I'm 2/10 out, but I'm definitely not going to make this dive. It looks like we're going to catch that convoy up in front before I get to make a move, so this might actually help me out. There's a cluster of about 4 cars here. Including the gent that sent me to the Shadow Realm, as it were. Whoa, what happened to that guy? Okay, bit of a jink on the inside. I take the inside. Look at that, look at that, look at that radar. Look how handy that is. Like, I can't see him on my screen, and the radar tells me not to knock him out. It's nice, you know, it's handy. I don't know how I ever lived without this thing. I just need to incorporate crew chief next time as well, I think, so I can get a better spotter. Sorry, Aussie guy, I get enough Aussie accents in my day-to-day life, believe it or not. Seating the outside there very graciously, thank you very much, Ben. As I start to chase Renato Giraffici with his hyper-Italian-esque livery and lime roll cage. It's kind of awesome, to be honest. I am kind of jealous. Mine is fluoro yellow, his is fluoro lime. We're definitely covering the spectrum of obnoxious colors between us, not counting my livery. So I'm pretty close to this cluster out in front here. I'm actually within striking distance, believe it or not, of second place again, or rather the podium positions. So I'm pretty excited about that. As he moves on the inside, blocks me off, fair enough, so be it. I've got the run, but it's not fast enough. The outside doesn't have the grip, and I don't get the line, and I just don't get on the power early enough, and that was never going to happen there. It was never going to happen there, but I know I have the pace. I've got the toe, and I've got the pace, so we're going to make the most of this.
You're in fifth.
I'm definitely in fifth. Thank you, mate. So I've got a great... Whoa! As he just kind of... Okay, I go in, he goes out. Ben pushes on the inside, and this is going to get very interesting for us very, very quickly. Here we go, making sure I leave enough room on the inside. How good is this radar? How good is this radar? I know exactly how much space to leave. Alright, now I've got the run on the outside. I know if I manage to get into the hairpin on the inside, he's pretty much done. And just casually knocked off the circuit again. Whoa! As I don't get time to be angry about that, as guys just get completely flung off the circuit behind me. You know, it's the 0 times. It is what it is. I'd prefer he had not done it. His driving has been a little bit wild. I've been subject to a few wild oh, as he brakes so early. I had to just slam the brake there just not to rear-end him. So definitely some interesting driving going on here in the rookies, especially closer to the midfield. I am not particularly thrilled that I've been relegated to this portion of the field at this point, but it is what it is, you know. Just got to make the most of it. I'm wondering to myself, am I going to be able to get in front of these two gents before the race is over? Certainly, if I'm going to be knocked off the track when I attempt it, it's going to be a little bit more difficult than otherwise. But, you know, it is what it is. I'll just assume that he's only got the spotter and doesn't have triple screens and wasn't able to actually see me there. Certainly a very hard thing to do in iRacing. And iRacing people, you have to tell me, why isn't there a radar inbuilt in the sim? Like, it's very necessary in 2022. I mean, not everybody has triple screens. Here we are, last lap. How quickly did it come up? How enthralled were you guys by my amazing... And watch this, watch this. What in the hell? What in the hell was that? Dude's still spinning. Oh, man. I bet old mate's still heading towards the stratosphere. What was that? I don't know what they were trying to achieve there, but some wild driving from those two. I actually almost reported Mr. Renato at the end of this race, but I kind of spectated it from Ben's perspective, and I'm not even sure whose fault it was in the end. It was just a really clumsy thing to do. It was just unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. Guys, drive with a radar if you have single screens. Like, there's just no excuse not to. Well, I mean, there is. iRacing doesn't have a radar. iRacing, just put in a bloody radar natively. Like, it's 2022, you need one. I think my favorite radar is the one in ACC, followed by the third-party one from Race Room. Yeah, OtterHUD. OtterHUD is amazing. Absolutely love it. One of the best telemetry tools out there. Race Lab, I think it is, or Race App, or whatever it's called for iRacing. Definitely a lifesaver just for the actual radar. And I definitely plan to use it for more things like the fuel calc, the relative and stuff in the future. I've just got to set it all up. So bear with me, guys. I'm still an iRacing newbie. And what pains me is I'm 2 seconds off Tim Penton there in third position, I think, on the podium. And I know had I managed to get around those guys earlier, had they not done the old punterino to me, had I not experienced what I'd experienced, I may have had a chance. I'm within striking distance, heck of even second position. Maybe with 3 laps, I might have had a chance, but, you know, this is what happens sometimes. This is where you end up. You just got to enjoy the journey rather than the destination. So I'm just shy of the podium as we go over the finish line for the very last time, and I'm thankful for a relatively eventful race, and I hope you guys enjoyed the ups and downs, the pendulum, the undulations, the emotional highs and lows of this amazing stellar race. Well, that's our second race in the MX-5, this time at the very awesome Oulton Park. While the race didn't quite go as planned, I was happy for the great, respectful racing I had with Victor in the first third, who finished first. I'd have loved to have seen who could have clinched the win under better circumstances, but alas, sometimes it's not meant to be. Hope you guys enjoyed watching that race as much as I did driving it. Make sure to subscribe to catch our next race driving the Ferrari Challenge Series for the very first time. Certainly, a hair quicker than the MX-5s. Let me know if you'd like me to include a crash compilation segment at the end of the next video. I can kind of comb towards all the finer moments of the race so we can kind of enjoy it together. Let me know in the comments if that's something you'd like to see. Until then, I'll see you all later.